Randolph County Training School began in a two-story wooden building in 1919, and the school has a deep and rich and wonderful history that will never be forgotten. During the 51 years that the school existed, thousands of African American children and their faculty and staff stood as a symbol of excellence. During the years when racial segregation and denial of basic rights to African Americans were the norm, a high school emerged to provide elementary and high school education to African American students. This was the largest school for African American students in Roanoke County. This picture was taken in 1940, and it's in front of the original school building, but this building burned in 1943. The students came from all around the county, from small African American rural schools in surrounding areas like Rock Mills, Weehawkee, Woodville, and Old St. Paul. Many of these schools, like St. Paul, shown here on the screen, they only went to 3rd grade. And then the students would come to the Roanoke County Training School. The training school opened only 15 years after the death of the great abolitionist Frederick Douglass. And even in the early years of the existence of the school, lynching was still used as a dominant tool to keep the race in the state of servitude. As late as October 12, 1914, the Roanoke leader recounted, quote, "The hanging of Walter Etheridge, a Negro who was hanged here in the jail yard today," end of quote. Also during this period and beyond, black people were routinely denied simple procedural rights, often resigning them to political and judicial discrimination. Many of these students and their parents were sharecroppers, which was an economic system that involved primarily black American families farming on land owned by whites who provided the tools of farming and received half of the crops cultivated. The system emerged after slavery as a way of controlling the labor of African Americans and poor whites. But within the walls of the Randolph County Training School emerged an educated workforce, ready to go out into the world and make a difference. These faces on the screen are merely a symbol of the hard work, the sacrifice, the contributions, and the success of the school's graduates and their children. Aside from the academics, the school sponsors a yearly prom, which was attended by excited teenagers and their dates. School colors were maroon and gold, and the gym was always decorated on that night, and faithful teachers provided leadership and compliments, just as they did each school day morning. Here are some additional prom pictures. The young man at the bottom of the screen, his name is Love Joy Moody, and he had a sister named Beauty Moody. The young lady is Gerald Houston. The lady in the center picture is Mary Roundtree Alford. Among some of the first teachers of the Randolph County Training School was Mamie Sheehan, a prominent teacher and a leader in community affairs. Between 1949 and 1957, 328 students graduated from this school, and 22% of those enrolled in college. And that's between the years of 1949 and 57, when college was not that popular in rural communities. Many graduating classes of the Randolph County Training School use this motto, quote, "You are either in the way, on your way, but the world will not wait." And it was an indication of the importance of hard work. And that was their motto. In 1948, the new Randolph County Training School campus was marked by beautiful trees under which many friendships were formed. Some of the beloved teachers of the historical school included Mary Sue Watson Tatum, Lillian Sheely, Amelia Shumler, Countess Chapman, Mabel Holly, Principal E.S. Peoples, and his wife Betty. In fact, Betty Peoples made such an impression on Mary Sue Tatum in the very first grade that Miss Tatum knew from then on that she wanted to be a teacher. Others who were important to the school were Dr. Warren Mendenfield, Wilkie and Hattie Clark, Lissa Handley, and Viola Huffman, and many, many more. In 1968, things began to change as the Freedom of Choice Act failed in Roanoke. It was a state-authorized student enrollment strategy that permitted parents to select which school to enroll their children. It was designed to undermine the desegregation effort. In the initial phase of desegregation, parents permitted carefully identified, hand-picked African American students to enroll in the all previously white schools, which would have been here in high school, Night-in-Law School, although I don't think there were any enrolled at Night-in-Law School. A few black students began to enroll here at Handley, at the elementary school and the high school, but no white students ever enrolled in the Roanoke County Training School. One such student was Evelyn Rowland, who became the very first African American student to begin first grade at Handley and graduate 12th grade at Handley. She graduated in 1980. This all began in 1968, and the principal at that time, the superintendent, was Melton Wallace, and he laid the groundwork for this transition. But it was Superintendent Thomas E. Turner who opened the doors to full desegregation for the school year of 1970-71. No longer was there a Roanoke County Training School at this point. For 23 years, as principal and/or superintendent, Thomas Turner led the school, and he led it through this difficult period of time. And it was his first year here. Both of his daughters are here today, Sally and Whitney, and I hope you'll meet them before you leave today. But Mr. Turner had a lot of success here at Handley High School, and we'll talk more about him in the second part of this lecture, this time next year, because he carried the school then for 23 years. I chose this picture as the closing slide, very deliberately, because this picture is a snapshot of important history. It's a page out of the Handley Yearbook of 1970. And within these spaces on this one page, you see students from the Rock Mill School, because their school only went to 8th grade, and they would transfer here. So on this one page, you see students from the Rock Mill School, the Lowell Mill Village Night-in-Law School, the Randolph County Training School, and from across the street, the Handley Elementary School. It is a picture of diversity, yet unity, a picture of differing cultures, and yet a lot of sameness. It's a picture of the past and the future. To a hill in Alabama, my memory likes to roam, for there stands my alma mater, my dear old high school home. We are Handley.